Hi, this is Gary Chalk, and you're listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, and you are listening to Studio 2009.
There is nothing wrong with your podcast player. Do not attempt to adjust the volume. Hello and welcome back into our studio. You are now inside Studio 2009, only on the Geekcast Radio Network. I am, of course, TFG1Mike, but joining me once again, almost as always, is Steve Megatron. How the hell have you been?
Yo.
Yo.
Doing pretty good.
That's good. Today we are bringing you a three-parter, folks, and this three-parter will have two parts at the end of January, and because I still have to edit as of this recording, I still have to edit all the other episodes before this one. So episodes 126 and 127 are going to be parts 1 and 2 of our Sonic the Hedgehog film coverage. We're going to talk about our history with Sonic the Hedgehog in general in this episode, and then we're just going to talk about the other two movies. The only reason why I'm putting Sonic 1 and 2 at the end of January and then Sonic 3 in February is because Sonic 3 is supposed to be out on digital on January 21st, but I won't be able to buy it until I get paid in February. So that's why the split. A little couple-week break kind of thing. And besides, I've been going hardcore inside the studio here since Halloween of last year. I don't even remember at this point, but it is what it is. So get your chili dogs ready as we watch the first live-action Sonic the Hedgehog film. Our good friend, we've interviewed him a couple of times. I think Gary is a 2-time GCRN interviewee. We did it on The Beast Unleashed, and we did it on Pixels in the Animation. So Gary is I'm going to say, good friend. He makes a cameo in a guest starring role as one of the generals in this. It's in the very beginning of the film, I think, when the generals are talking about what to do about Sonic or what to do about this, that, and the other thing and everything else. So we knew that Gary had a cancer diagnosis, and we knew that he was doing the treatments and all that and everything else. That news had broken. Candace and Centaura is his friend. I don't know if she's his manager, but she's the one. If I need to find out how Gary's doing, she's the one I go to. So yep. I asked her how he was doing, and this is what she told me. Hello, Mike. Yes, she's doing well. Thank you. Hope you are too. Gary is doing quote-unquote okay, mostly tired. He had his second chemo treatment last week, and by the time you were hearing this, folks, last week was probably, most likely, if the calendar will come up, probably the week of January 5th to the 11th, so that's Sunday to Saturday. We can already see big improvements with his health from where he was during the Christmas holiday in the hospital, but he has a long way to go, and the third or fourth treatments will likely be difficult. However, he has been in better spirits lately, and we're cautiously optimistic for a full recovery, fingers and toes crossed. She goes on to talk about the Sonic stuff. So on a personal note, I love those Sonic films. I just saw the third one a couple of weeks ago and enjoyed it. I've been a fan of Sonic ever since, and I first played Sonic 2 on Sega Genesis at my friend's house back in 4th or 5th grade. And I love the original cartoon. It's cool because Gary has been in 3 iterations of Sonic now, starting all the way back in the original tune. He was Grounder. He had auditioned and landed that small role in the first film because they knew he was involved in the cartoons. I knew he was going to be in the movie, so as soon as the trailer dropped, I watched it and spotted him in there, sharing it on the Facebook fan group. I run for him. Always great to see him on the big screen. Thank you in advance for your shout-out and well wishes to him. I know he will appreciate it. Yes, Gary, please keep kicking that cancer butt, man. Oh, fuck cancer. Just, oh God, why does that have to be a thing? Anything you'd like to say before I send it to a trailer break?
No, I agree. It sucks.
Yeah, but he's fighting the good fight. Dude is very resilient, and I'm fairly certain he will kick cancer butt. Alright, folks, we are going to get into Sonic the Hedgehog from Ooh, when did this movie come out? 2020, I think. Yeah, January 25th, 2020. February 4th. Oh, it was a Valentine's Day release for general audiences here in the U.S. February 14th, 2020. Happy Valentine's Day, speeding with chili dogs, folks. We'll get to the trailer now and come back with our thoughts on the film.
I'm Sonic, a little ball of super energy in an extremely handsome package.
All right, folks, we are back. Sonic the Hedgehog, the first film, like I said, February 14th, 2020. What is your history with Sonic overall, sir? When did you first notice Sonic, the games, and all that stuff?
When I got a Sega Genesis. So I played my cousin's Sega Genesis and got to kind of learn more or less the ins and outs of it, just playing Sonic 2 and 3. And then I got the Sonic CD, which was a specialty game. And It was strange because it would go back and forth from the present day to the past to the future. And you'd see different iterations of, the land. And then we ended up in, I think I played Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of my favorites for a while. And then it just kind of, after that, I really don't, I didn't play a whole lot. I mostly played eventually on the emulators because that's just kind of what I had.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the emulators were always a big old thing.
I didn't care for Sonic after he went off of the 2D side scroller.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. For me, I remember, so my history is basically, because of my cerebral palsy, and I've talked about this all the time in the last 15, 16, 17 years we've been doing this. I play video games one-handed, and I have to have a controller that's going to fit in my hand. I basically use my ring and my pinky finger to do the D-pad, and then I use my index finger and my thumb for the buttons. So the the NES controller is fine, the Super NES controller is fine, the PlayStation 1 and 2 controllers are fine. I didn't know what, I said the Sega Genesis controller is fine as well, but I didn't know what to think with that thing. At least with Nintendo, you had the D-pad, the start, select, and then the A-B, and then for the Super, you had the X, Y, A-B, so you just added 2 more buttons, and it was ergonomic. Whereas the Sega Genesis controller is this giant, half moon thing with 3 giant ABC buttons. And I'm like, the only C button I ever remember using is on Kit from Knight Rider to turn him into a convertible.
Countdown. 3, 2, 1. C button.
C button.
Whoa!
That's incredible. Whoa.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that was my history when I saw that, and I started playing Sonic 1, and Sonic 1 was okay. I liked it. It was cool. But Sonic 2 was so much better than Sonic 1.
Oh, I agree with you. That was by far my favorite version. Yeah, that was my favorite, and then I enjoyed Sonic 3 and Knuckles, not Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic and Knuckles was okay.
Yeah.
I was definitely more of a Sonic 3 and Knuckles because you could play Sonic 3 with Knuckles.
Right, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and you know me, folks, I'm the music guy around here, and honestly, any of the Sonic music, but specifically Sonic 2, I've had that sound, I've had those music files for years, and I listen to those all the time, because I love the music from those games. And then back in the late 80s, early 90s, I started watching the cartoons, and we had Jaleel White, a.k.a. Urkel, as the voice of Sonic. And the chili dogs and gotta go fast and super speed and everything else and all that, and just absolutely loved it. So I am a Sonic fan. I don't talk about it as much because I'm not like I don't play. I don't even. I think the last game I played, if I trying to remember here, I think it was the Shadow the Hedgehog game. I forget which system that was on, but it was a 2005 video game. It was on trying to say GameCube. It was the PlayStation 2 Shadow the Hedgehog video game from 2005. Oh my god. That was 20 years ago. Holy shit. And yeah, no, I absolutely loved playing that game. When I think it's the newest one, I think is Sonic Forces. Whatever the newest one is that he's like, I know you mentioned the side scroller and I agree with you. I love the side scroller games. But there's one where he's like 3D kind of thing. I don't even remember which game it is, but I saw it recently and I was like, "Oh, that is so cool." Yeah, I don't even know, but just absolutely love Sonic the Hedgehog. So when these movies debuted, when Sonic 1 debuted, it was like, oh, cool. But everybody was like, oh my god, his design is horrible in the online community.
It was.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying that was a controversy when that first trailer broke. And absolutely it was. And they changed it perfectly. He looks pretty much like the Sonic character from the game. There are certain moments where there's certain things that he does that just don't make me think it's Sonic from the games, but then there's certain moments in the first movie where he'll do this or he'll do that, and I'm like, oh yeah, classic Sonic. And what I love about these movies is the intros, for the most part, the opening of the movie and the closing of the movie, it's all video game stuff. Like, we always talk about movies we could watch again, or movies we would watch at any time, all the time kind of thing, or movies that we wouldn't do that with. After watching Sonic 1 and 2 today, literally, I just finished watching Sonic 2 before we hit record. That's how I always kind of roll around here these days, folks. And, man, these movies are so freaking good.
Yeah, I was quite surprised how well they made this whole film franchise, I guess, because they're not stopping at 3.
No, they're not stopping at 3.
I genuinely enjoyed this first film quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And then each sequential one got better. I mean, part of the draw for me too was we had Jim Carrey.
Yeah, we were going to get to that, but I mean, just, yeah, absolutely. Like, we've talked about this for years. We did it on M-Wire, and folks, Movie Week in Review is returning with Steve Megatron. We will talk about that at the end of the podcast episode, but in a completely different way than what it used to be, which is absolutely fine. But it's one of those things where we talk about how you see somebody play a role, whatever role that is. It doesn't matter what. It could be a completely made-up role. It could be a complete transition from comic to movie to TV show to cartoon to whatever, and you have take Batman, Kevin Conroy, may the man rest in peace. He is Batman. He will always be Batman. He will be the first voice I think of when anyone talks to me about Batman. And it's one of those things where Mr. Carrey fits a role that you can't see anybody else playing it but him. You look at those games, Sonic 1, 2, 3, even Sonic and Knuckles, whatever the games that Robotnik is in, you look at those games and you look at Jim Carrey's performance as Robotnik / Eggman, because throughout both films, Sonic calls him Eggman, so that's another nice little call to the games. Jim just brings it, and it's so fun. I had no problem sitting here watching these two movies today. Absolutely none.
Oh, no. And they're just, honestly, they're immensely enjoyable. Like, there's not a lot of stuff that would drive me away from these. Like, I enjoyed the first one because you're getting the introductions of everybody. Robotnik looked a little different, which was okay. I was like, they're obviously like filling out this universe. And then you get to, the second film and he starts looking more like Robotnik. And then you get to the third film and he looks more like Robotnik. So, I mean, if he comes back in the next one, he'll be even more so. But it's funny too, because it's also the third time Jim Carrey has done a sequel. Ace Ventura 2 was the first time, When Nature Calls, and then Dumb and Dumber 2, and then Sonic 2. And then he did a threequel, which is the first time anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think it's just one of those things where you find something that you absolutely love doing. And Jim is a character actor. Robotnik is a character. Hey, you play any of the games that we've already mentioned, he's a character in those games, but Jim brought him to life, literally pulled him out of the video game, pulled him basically out of the Sega Genesis and put him on the big screen. Now, even though I did watch these two films literally all day today as we're recording this, I don't remember, did he ever have in either film, and we'll talk about the second film in the next episode of the podcast, folks, but did he have his I know he had certain vehicles that he would ride in and drive and whatever, but did he
the first one,
Yep.
he that's when Sonic like bashed it, like kept bouncing into it. And then hit it from all different angles and then destroyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. I mean the moon planetoid thing kind of was this latest film.
Yeah. Absolutely. The yeah, man, it was just, and the story, it's so good. You start out with Sonic, where he's really young, anthropomorphic blue hedgehog, supersonic speed. He's attacked by an Enchida tribe, and versus the owls.
Echidna.
Okay.
Echidna. That's what it was.
Echidna. There it is. So it's the Echidna tribe versus the owl tribe, and Longclaw, his guardian, gives him a bag of golden rings. I love how they incorporated every single piece in various ways in the video game, from the video games. Like, I was surprised that they used it works, I'm not complaining, but I was surprised they used the rings instead of the Paramount stars for the Paramount logo. That was so cool. It's just a little thing, but I loved that. Absolutely love that. So we have so as the movie goes along, Sonic is enjoying a secret life in a dark cave under the rural town of Green Hills, Montana. Again, working in certain things from the game. Green Hill Zone is one of the levels in the game. And they even made a reference to, which one is it? Where are my notes here? Video games, let's see, Sega logo, intro, Green Hills. Hilltop Road in Green Hills, Montana. So Hilltop Zone was one of the, I think it was in Sonic 2. I just absolutely love it. It's so good. And then, as good as Jim Carrey is as Robotnik, you got freaking Cyclops as Sonic's foster dad. You got James Marsden in here. I'm like,
I mean, it kind of fits, but he's also done a lot of the. Yeah. Didn't he do like the Smurfs or something, and then he did like the Easter Bunny, and so he's done like these mocap type character, where he's talking to an animated character more or less.
So I already had his filmography pulled up. We're not going to go through the whole thing, folks, because we're going to focus on the plot here. But obviously, we know the debut of. It's not his debut. No Desert Dad Till You Mow the Lawn was his debut in 1994. He's only been acting for 31 years. Holy crap. He was in Public Enemies in 96, and then Disturbing Behavior in 98, Gossip, and then Where We Know Him, X-Men in 2000. And then he was in Zoolander, the other X-Men movies. He was Richard White, in the voice of Richard White in Superman Returns. He did do Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore. I don't know who he said there was a character named Diggs in that, so it was a voiced character. It was not a human. One movie, I don't know who I'm going to get because I don't know who is interested in this. One movie I do plan on covering here in Set Series 2009 is Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg, Two Guns. I forgot that James Marsden is in this as Harold Quince. I absolutely loved that movie. It took me a long time to finally watch that film. But I mean, Marsden, you're right. He just literally, it's the hero character. Obviously, the more competent police officer, considering his deputy is a dumbass. Oh my god, I wanted Robotnik to stomp that guy. I hate that guy. At least in this first film. What's his name? Wade Whipple, dim-witted deputy sheriff in Green Hills and Tom's closest loyal friend. Okay, great. He's Tom's closest loyal friend. But your friend's a dumbass, dude. I mean, he does get better in the second movie, but in this first movie, oh my god. Oh, man. So as the story progresses, we get various things, and like I said, various things from the games. This movie just literally reaches down into people's core. While he's playing baseball, Sonic gets so sad he runs at unusually high speeds to clear his mind, and he accidentally triggers an EMP. That basically an outage across the entire Pacific Northwest. And this
Which is why we end up with Robotnik.
Yep. Hey man, you can have it in any color as long as it's black. I love his design. I love the way his design, I'll say changes, because I don't want to say matures. But between the first movie and the second movie, and we'll talk about the second movie next time, but this first movie, how it slowly changes over and over and over again is very, very cool. And man, that mustache is, oh boy. That mustache is off the chain. Talk about a mustache twirling villain. Robotnik is it in this movie.
Well, and he's supposed to be very sophisticated here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
However, he gets more unhinged.
Well, yeah.
He's partially unhinged here.
Yep.
But he gets even more so.
Yes, very much so. And I can only imagine, because I haven't seen the third movie yet, but I can only imagine how unhinged he gets in the third movie, because I've seen the trailers and oh boy, that's some crazy stuff there. They mention, because when they're watching TV, they mention Keanu Reeves, because they're looking at a Speed, they're either watching Speed or they're looking at a Speed trailer. So there's that. Did you catch the Ferris Bueller reference?
I'm sure I did on first watch, and it just didn't register again, but...
Swing better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was all kinds of pop culture references in this.
Yeah, and they're not forced. They're not forced, and they're not sticking out like sore thumbs. They just blend into the story. And that is so cool. So, absolutely love that. The bikers in the bar scene, Sonic tries to resist the temptation of going over and, experiencing that. The slow motion in the bar scene is the best. Oh man, I absolutely love the super speed slow motion he does in that, because there's a song, I think it's by the Executioners. I have to look, but I think. And I heard that song, and I'm searching, what song is that? And I'm like, oh my god, I need that song. I love that scene.
I think it's funny that Sonic, though, he nicknames, Tom in this. He's like, Donut Lord.
Yep. That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious.
And Commander Walters in this, I didn't like him in this one, but he kind of grew into a fully fleshed character the further it went.
Yeah, absolutely. The song is by the artist is X Ambassadors. Song name is Boom. That's the song during the bar scene. You know, that commander, the Commander Walters, that's the old general dude that you're talking about there, right? Am I right in that?
Yeah, Commander Walters.
Yeah. He reminds me so much of the idiot general in Police Academy. Not captain.
The commandant.
The commandant. Yeah. I'm like, wait, is that the same guy? I'm pretty sure it's not the same guy, but I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Because holy crap, reminds me so much of absolutely, just wow. I don't think there's a single thing in this movie that I didn't like in the first one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, the pacing was good. The story is great. I mean, when you sit down to watch a movie, what you want is to be drawn in. And you want to stay in that world throughout the whole story. And man, if this first movie didn't do that, it did. Literally, from the very beginning, as I already mentioned about the rings for the Paramount logo for this instead of the stars, that brought me into this world, and I was just captivated by this story. It's such a good story. And there are so many, again, you have so many things in here. Literally, Sonic has to lose a sort of parent or, adult figure in the owl lady. He loses her. He goes to this strange planet. So you essentially, like, if you move from one state to another state and you don't know anybody in the town, the new town you move to, kind of thing. So it's all that kind of forcing people to face abandonment issues and then finding a new family and feeling better about yourself. And man, this movie has everything. Any other plot points you would like to point out or go over, sir?
I don't think so. I mean, I feel like they tried to wrap as many, egg jokes or Robotnik things or things that would grow into something later, like Easter eggs into this. And then they kind of gave it a more fleshed out. I know in the future they're planning on going less on the human side, more on the characters of the games.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you have, let's just say for now, because I haven't seen the third movie yet, but let's just say for now, the first two movies. You've fleshed everything out with Sonic. The first movie, you have all the issues I mentioned earlier about, his family figure, mother figure dying, fear of abandonment, all that stuff, having to go to a new place, don't know anybody, have to, you find a new family, etc. Like, you've dealt with all of that in the first movie. Next episode, when we talk about the second movie, we won't be talking about any of these issues. There's a whole bunch of new issues in the second movie, and that's the setup. And again, I haven't looked at the third movie. I haven't even looked at the third movie's Wikipedia page to learn the plot, because, as y'all know, if y'all have been listening to me for the last 16 years, I can read Wikipedia and forget about it by the time I end up watching whatever it is, or listening to it, or whatever. So, but I haven't even looked at the Sonic 3 plot from Wikipedia, because I want to watch that movie. I want to experience it the way I experienced these two, where it's just in the moment. So at the end of the movie, Tom acknowledges Sonic as his friend, causing Sonic to regain consciousness and maximize his strength. Sonic defeats Robotnik by destroying his hovercraft, and with help from Tom, sends him through a ring portal to the Mushroom Planet. So it comes out in the second movie, again, we'll talk about this next time, about this whole thing about how Earth was always meant to be Sonic's actual destination. And then, like, this Mushroom Planet thing feels like it's the Phantom Zone from Superman. It's weird.
I mean, it kind of is, but it's one of the game lands.
Is it? Which game is it from?
Yes. That I'm pretty sure that's from the Sonic and Knuckles game.
Okay.
I hated that land. It was all mushrooms in the one level, and I hated that.
Like a Knuckles that has it. And yeah, no, literally when I first saw that, I'm like, are they making fun of a other certain video game franchise that we all know and love? I'm talking about, the plumber going into the kingdom. Literally, that my first thought was that they were making fun of Mario when they brought up the Mushroom Planet.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the first thought. All right. Is there anything else? Do we want to go over any other cast members or anything, or are we? I don't know what else we need to do with this one.
I think we're good on that.
Very cool. Very cool. But yeah, man, Sonic 1, 2, and 3. Man, they came out pretty much every 2 years for the last 5 years. So I'm assuming we can expect Sonic 4 in like 2026 or 2027. Wow. Very cool, very cool. Alright, folks, so since we went over the main cast, like Tom and those kind of characters, we won't go over those in the next episode for the second film. We will mention, obviously, Tails and stuff. What did you... I guess I should bring this up. What did you think of Ben Schwartz as the voice of Sonic?
Isn't he the same one that took over for Leonardo in the TMNT cartoon after...
I don't remember. I'm looking.
I want to say he did.
Yes, he took over after Seth Green for Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yep. That was...
No,
good.
I meant... I thought he took over... I thought he was in the other TMNT TV series, but... I know he's in Rise, but maybe I'm getting the...
Yeah, the only thing I see for him, TMNT-wise, is Rise of the TMNT, the main voice cast, 39 episodes. That's the TV series, 2018 to 2020.
Yeah, I didn't realize Seth Green took the character of Leonardo.
No, Seth was before that.
That's what I was talking about. It's a 2012 series. I didn't...
Yeah. The 2012 series, when the 2012 series for TMNT hit the third season, Jason Biggs, who was the original voice of Leo in that series, I don't know, something happened or whatever.
He got in trouble. It was around the time of Orange is the New Black.
Yeah. So then Seth comes in, and I liked Seth as the voice of Leo. So Seth came in the third season of the 2012 series, and then he was the voice of Leo going forward. And then obviously Ben came in, but this is really the first time. Sonic is really the first time that I've heard Ben in, I want to say, anything. He was a clerk voice in Q Detective episode of The Simpsons. I don't think I've even seen that. I haven't watched The Simpsons in years. But no, I like his voice. For half a minute when he was talking about chili dogs, I'm like, damn it, I wish that was Jaleel White. Because Jaleel White voicing Sonic, juice and jam time, and gotta eat my chili dogs, and all that. I just love that. But no, Ben absolutely encapsulates. Like, if we were to have heard a voice Sonic in the games back in the day, man, I would definitely hear Ben's style of how he voiced the character. Absolutely loved it. All right, folks, I will go through the questions that we always do ask, since I want to get your overall opinion on the stuff. Did the film keep your interest throughout?
Yes.
Are you itching to watch the next film now after watching the first one?
Yes, even though I've already seen them.
Okay, yeah, but obviously, would you recommend this film to people?
Well, yeah, definitely.
All right, so we got to go over to the Geekcast Radio website, not the store. That's later. Where is that? There it is. We got to go over to Geek Meter over on the Geekcast Radio Network website. We got to rate this first film. 0 to 5 with half points. What are you going to give Sonic the Hedgehog, sir?
I'll give the first one a 4. point. Yeah, probably a 4 point, just because I like it better once they started adding more to the universe.
Yep. And I don't always read these, folks, but I'm going to read it this time just in case anyone doesn't go over to geekcastradio.com/geekmeter. 4.0, really good. High quality fun. There are some issues, which really there aren't any issues in this, but they won't ruin your experience. You might even forgive them on a rewatch. We might need to update these descriptions for the ratings because, I don't know, that, like, 4.0 for me is like, if it's really good, then I don't know, whatever. For me, I'm going to give it a 4.5. Top of the class. Fans of the genre would be crazy to miss this. Few flaws, which, as I said, there really aren't any, but they're dwarfed by its awesomeness. Huge leap forward. And again, we're talking about a video game movie, folks.
I know. Well,
Video game.
We got that, and we got the Super Mario, and those both turned out really well.
We're gonna do I don't know who wants to do Super Mario, but I need to try to convince.
I like
Chaos
Super Mario. That was pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if I can get Chaos to do it because I made fun of her. She has some weird thing about Mario. I want to see. I'd talk to her about that. But anyway, but I mean, this is a video game movie, folks. Holy crap! Like, video game movies have always been shunned because they've always been essentially bad films, most of them. And sometimes people love bad films in a good way or love bad films in a bad way or whatever kind of thing. But man, this first, like, I would rewatch this in like a week and a half just to watch it. Just to veg out and not deal with anything and just watch the damn thing. Because it's awesome. We are going to go to a quick ad break. You're going to hear some podcast ads and some other stuff. We're going to come back to close the show right after this.
Hello, geeks and geekettes! Looking for a podcast that covers a vast array of topics? Then check out Altered Geek Unleashed, where we discuss our thoughts on this week's geeky news, tech, gaming, television shows, movies, cartoons, comics, and more. So, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks. Every Friday on the Geekcast Radio Network.
Are you missing entertainment in your life? Welcome to Captain Ruggles Gaming. Whether it's guides, roleplay content, or our shenanigans with our collaborations with the 20 years standing strong Fart Clan, also known as Fast Action Response Team, or the Wrecking Crew, we have something for everyone. So join us when we traverse the cosmos of space games, survive the undead in zombie games, or just having fun in first-person shooters or random indie games. Visit us now at geekcastradio.com and youtube.com/@Captain Ruggles, or Google search Captain Ruggles Gaming. It's game time, and I'll see you on the battlefield.
For the best in science fiction, join Mark Baumgarten, Vicky Jakubowski, Zion Kiros, and Juan San Miguel on the award-winning podcast Mark Who 42's Universe. Doctor Who, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Star Trek, and more are all fair game with Mark Who 42, which has been around since 2012 in one form or another. Mark Who 42's Universe is proud to be a part of Geekcast Radio Network, the best place to get your geek on. Listen to us bi-weekly or weekly if we have a topic relevant for you, our listeners. Mark Who 42 on Geekcast Radio Network, a match made in a galaxy near you.
On the Simplistic Reviews podcast, we talk movies. We talk TV. We talk.
Hello, Julie, what the heck are you doing?
Trying to make our spots sound more exciting by adding explosions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could have got the point across with sound effects, not the real thing. Car.
Download this show on iTunes or at simplisticreviews.blogspot.com.
I'm sure your insurance company will cover that.
No, they won't.
No, they probably won't.
Is that all you got?
No, but thank you for asking.
Studio 2009, only on the Geekcast Radio Network. Any final thoughts from you, sir?
Nope.
All right. Anything you want to promote?
Working on various new video podcasts that, or video shows, I should say, not podcasts, on our YouTube channel, but otherwise still doing some of our stuff on the podcast audio side of things.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us inside Studio 2009. If you'd like to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show, there are several ways to do so. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can listen to and comment on all of our content. You can also check out our new store there, shop.geekcastradio.com. Shoot us an email, feedback@geekcastradio.com. Check us out on any of the podcatching clients you choose to use. We're on all the social medias, folks, most of them. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Next time, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, in part 2 of this 3-part series. For now, I am TFG1Mike with
Steve Megatron.
You'll hear us back in the studio soon.